right, we're live. My gosh, this is the second one we've been able to do on the new channel. And anybody that's hearing this, I'm going to put a link down below. Go to Steve's Anime Hangout. So you can go ahead and get the link, and you can start participating in these Hangouts. All right, we're on chapter 1, or excuse me, we're on page 1, right, of chapter 676. Is there anything on the first page except that all of a sudden, have you noticed how fast, the whole thing was Madara is floating with half a body, right? He's in one dimension when he's top half another, and how we just completely flew past that. He jumps in, he has a whole body, and we just keep going.
Yeah, Kishi probably forgot. I don't know.
I don't know if it's good. I think Madara's name is Majin Buu, personally.
Majin Buu. That's good.
All right.
So check out those cool balls on Naruto's back, like just hovering in like a circular formation. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder what how he's gonna use it.
I don't know. I mean, he'll probably just use them as like the same way Obito is using them when Obito has the Jubi powers.
Well, that's another thing we're going to have to get into later on, is there going to be a battle before Infinite Tsukiyami? So anyway, I guess that'd be a question toward the end. All right, I'm on the next page, and Madara's like, I suppose if you all died together, that would also be called teamwork, wouldn't it? What a smart ass. Good grief. Anyway, what do you guys think about this page? Anything you guys pick up on here? Or Obito, how do you like Obito? Everybody, wasn't it pretty much everybody was in consensus for the most part that he was going to be using Obito Black Zetsu is like a puppet, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And once you saw the hand go into his chest, and you knew Obito was on his last legs, you pretty much knew that Madara was going to take control again.
So he's basically... Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm saying, yeah, I said that last week. Like, he's going to use Obito as a puppet for some reason, because of the joint part.
I mean, if you look, he's using it for the Kamui. He's a transportation device. He's like, I'll just go to the other dimension, chill out for a little while. My little puppet will port me over there.
And if you look, you see that the Kamui he's using, the Mangebu Sharingan, is Kakashi's. So that means that Obito now has both of his Sharingan back.
Right. So you can use them a lot more effectively.
Oh, I never noticed that. Wow.
Yeah, it means that at some point, when Obito regains consciousness, he'll be able to combine both of his Mangebu Sharingan together and maybe create something that will screw Madara up.
Well, yeah, Obito's dead. No, he's gone.
No, I think Obito's going to get his comeuppance at some point.
All right, so Michael G., you think that Obito's already dead?
I hope he is. I hate him.
I just want to remember something that Conley Bob 9 said a long time ago. That Obito, you can't kill Obito because he's like a roach. He's like a cockroach. He always finds a way to survive. All through this manga he has. He's the unkillable. Obito the unkillable. Right? And here he is, still with that chance to come back.
Will of Rin for the win.
The Will of Rin.
Even better than the Will of Fire.
Oh gosh, I cringe every time I hear that name now. Oh man, what a crazy ride that's been. All right, anything else on the page here that anybody?
I'm just saying, like, there's no way that Kishimoto would get rid of Obito in such an anticlimactic way, especially when, like, 2 chapters ago or a chapter ago, whatever it was, that Kishi was pointing out how powerful an individual is when he has both of his eyes. So I'm pretty sure that's all set up for when Obito takes back his consciousness and he can do what he's going to do to screw Madara up. Because it's kind of ironic that Obito, being the one who sought this plan his whole life, would be the one to foil it. Just fits perfectly.
Let me read this real quick. Okay, I'll get right to you, James. Inside his heart, he wished and prayed like a little kid that he would be all right. What a pathetic story. He sounds like just another selfish little brat. Yeah, what you got, James?
Well, I think Obito's is actually, like Michael was saying, is gonna help in that Madara's downfall. Personally, I think Black Zetsu's gonna be defeated one way or another, and it's gonna give Obito a last chance to do something is going to redeem him finally.
People were saying I'm sorry. People were saying in the forums that he might Kamui the moon.
Well, look. I think that the entire existence for this other dimension that Obito's had for the whole time was for the end of this manga, and it's going to be he's going to take Madara over there and blow it up or something. Yeah. Something like that. I think is what's going to happen. That'll be a good that'll be one place if you put him in another dimension, whatever it is, part of the Jubi. I think what's what I'm thinking is that they're going to be transformed, right? The 9 into something more human or humanoid, and then because remember, if the tree gets back together, the world blows up. Pretty much anything happens, the whole world is changed or blown up. It's going to be taken over there once and for all to Obito's dimension, and that's going to be the resolution. That's what I think. It's a possibility.
Yeah, because remember, Obito still has the Jubi's body. Well, one of them anyway.
Well, yeah, and he's got the ability to take Madara over there and take him with him, which is what I think everybody's looking at. His max act will be. He will die the way that he died the first time, right? Or almost died, sacrificing himself for everybody else. He'll finally have come full circle, and Obito will be a hero.
Yeah, because ultimately, Madara is just a stepping stone to when Naruto fights Sasuke. So Obito will be the one to take this obstacle out of Naruto's path, and then it will be Naruto versus Sasuke at the end. So we'll see how that happens. Maybe Kaguya will possess Sasuke or something. I don't know. Kishi can go like a million ways with it. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. The mother. Okay, now I'm on the page where we have Madara, and here we go. We got Sakura Sanadi-sama. I've finally been able to bring these two back together. All right.
Time.
Yeah, she's I kind of want, like I said, I want to talk about this. I don't want to do 30 minutes. But, okay, then I go to page 2. This is it's the next page. I'll distract him. Keep going. How from the beginning of the manga, Sakura has been the one. Naruto, don't just charge in.
Right.
Have a plan. Have teamwork. Right? Don't just do your own thing. And what does she do? This breaks her for me. This character for me is now completely broken. She doesn't make any. Now I know it. It took me a while, but now she's completely. It's one thing to watch a character get dragged through the mud and humiliated.
Yeah.
It's another thing to just say, okay, this isn't even. This Sakura right here isn't little Sakura. Little Sakura, character progression is growth.
Right.
She's actually lesser than little Sakura. Now, just charging in with no plan.
But you've got to admit that this is funny. When she gets skewered, it's anticlimactic.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Well,
yeah,
I have a lot of thoughts on this specific part. I thought about this a lot. I had an initial reaction that was very negative. But when I was thinking about it, I see it in kind of in a positive light. So if you guys want to talk first, and then I'll add my 2 cents in. Want to do that?
Well, because we're talking about her charging in. Then we'll get to the Sasuke thing after that.
Well, this whole thing. So
yeah, go ahead.
This whole thing. So she's not on the. Well, she shouldn't be on the battlefield at all.
Right.
That's what it shows to me.
So the thing is here, when I first read the chapter, I was laughing out loud at how pathetic she was. I was out loud, I thought, wow, compared to Naruto, she looks pathetic. Like, Kishi, why are you doing this? But upon closer, reflection, I see 2 positives here. The first is that her plan isn't actually a bad plan. She doesn't know that Madara has invisible clones. So she uses the Byakugo seal and throws her body in front of Madara, thinking that she won't be hurt and she'll be able to get a punch off. And she would have if he didn't have those clones. And thus, Sasuke and Naruto would have had ample time to get behind him or to mount an attack while Madara is like reeling from her blow because she has a super powerful punch. And then the other thing is that it shows her growth as a character because, like you were saying, Steve, in the beginning she would have never done that. She would have, thought things through and while you're seeing it as a strength of her character, the old way of how she used to be, Kishimoto is portraying it as she's grown up to to be more gutsy, to change. She's changed as a different person. The whole point of that panel is to show that she's changed to be like Naruto and Sasuke, I suppose. And so that is supposed to, imply that she's, better, not that she's worse. So I mean, you can say so. The plan wasn't really stupid. It was a decent plan, reckless, but it made logical sense in her perspective. And like and she just wants to show them that she's not the same frightened little girl that she used to be. She wants to show them that she's a fully fledged ally in battle. So in that respect, she grew. But it's just that when you compare her to Naruto and Sasuke, she looks pathetic because she isn't anywhere near their level.
Well, what happened? Right. Well, there's a lot there, but look. Tsunadi's training, she was little Sakura was correct in the beginning. You don't just charge in, you go in as a team. So in that way she's now wrong. Tsunade also taught her you're the healer. You don't get hit because the power that you use to heal yourself is power you should be using to heal others. Okay, but you have to be able to defend yourself. So that's why she's got the powerful punch because they come in to get her and she knocks them out. So this whole thing doesn't make sense to me, okay? And then the coup d'etat, which is I believe we get right, is the whole thing is the after effect of she's like, and Sasuke-kun doesn't even care about me.
Yeah, that I thought.
Oh. So now look, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. Is it character growth for her to be like Sasuke and Naruto, right? And which is really more like Naruto. He's the one that just charges in. So she's being more like him. Is that character growth? If you think it is, then you go, this is character growth. I don't think it is.
Right. It depends on what Kishi wants it to be, because he's the one that made Sakura the way she was in the beginning, and now he's changing her to be. I mean, I don't think he's trying to purposely make her weaker. I don't think he's trying to do that, So I would assume it would be character growth.
Well, let's go ahead.
Do all of this in the beginning.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean. What do you got? Well, let's go ahead and get some other people in on here. Sean, what do you got for us on this?
I said, if this is all the case, like she should have did this when she was in the other dimension with Obito, but she chose this time to step up. Like that, I didn't understand.
Yeah, she's got a shaky current eye in the other dimension when she could easily destroy the eye, and now over here she's charging.
And then it looked, yeah, it looked like she has to have Sasuke and Naruto with her in order to get like all courageous and stuff.
She's Tsunade. Tsunade is look. People can say about with the character what a lot of people don't like Tsunade because of the way she acts when she's not fighting. But you look at any of the battle scenes with Tsunade, and she's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
But and I thought, well, this is where Sakura's going to go, and she's not. Amazing. And it's crazy. I mean, for me, like I say, it's the writing. This is Kishi. He has not done justice to the character.
Yeah, I agree.
In any way, shape, or form. Anyway, welcome, Anthony. I'll get to you in a little bit.
No problem.
Now, Michael G. Oh, wait, hold on, Michael. We and you have talked a lot. We need to get this around. Michael G. Now, what do you think about both parts, the opening and then the closing, the whole Sasuke-kun thing, which I think everybody I've heard agree that it's just painful.
Well, I don't think she's really changed a whole lot from the beginning, but I think she's jealous of Naruto and Sasuke's abilities now, and she wants to show them that she's still relevant. But charging in like that when you barely know what the enemy's abilities are is really stupid. I don't think it's character progression because it's opposite of what she used to do, like you said, Steve. but at least she's trying.
Well, at least she's trying, but yeah, it feels like character retrogression.
Yeah.
Okay, James, what do you think? You got anything on this right now, James?
Well, I mean, around I'm gonna say Tsunade. Around Sakura, I was just disappointed. There was like so much they could have did with her, and then in that one panel, and then she's just same old Sakura.
It just
She's
feels like it feels even if she wouldn't have been successful, they could have made her look badass, right? She could have done something instead of just getting skewered and being helplessly being skewered.
But yeah, I mean,
touch him.
I want to see Madara, actually had to move out the way. He just had lifted one arm and found the chakra rod and stabbed her.
Would have been so bad if she could have, because she would have done like the Tsunade thing and broke it off and hit him in the face. Something. Give us something to Sakura. All right, Nancy's muted. I'll get to him later. I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
One more thing. How about when she was in limbo? Maybe she just decided to try to stab Obito instead of just her hand shaking. Like she can't believe it.
Yeah, this is Kishi. I'm gonna, like I said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If Anthony, whenever he unmutes his mic later, wants to throw a little bit in there, that's fine. But this is just, in my opinion, really bad writing from Kishi. That's my opinion. Let me put it to you this way. I could see that the counterpoints, maybe what he was trying to do. Okay, trying to show this is something, but even then, in my opinion, it's not successful. So it's just my opinion. I mean, hopefully he'll do something more. But I've kind of already, like I've told him, I've kind of given up on Kishi as far as doing justice to Sakura's character. I've kind of just said he's not going to do it. I hope he does, but it just doesn't look like it. At least for me. So. Well, all right, I guess we can. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and close it out, and then we'll.
Yeah, I just want to say, I agree that Kishi writes Sakura terribly. I don't think he does it on purpose. I just think he's really bad at it. And
so you're saying his heart's in the right place, but he's just not.
Right. With Tsunade, Tsunade is, she said what she said, but she's always rushing in when she's fighting. She's always jumping in there and going head first. So I kind of feel like Sakura is also trying to emulate Tsunade more with her fighting style now. I think that, she's by herself right now. She's probably stronger than Tsunade. She can do everything Tsunade does. She just doesn't. Yeah. She just hasn't had a detailed fight scene like
she hasn't had her moment. All right, well, let's go ahead and push past this. Now we're on the next because I think we've covered that. We're now to the next thing, and this is everybody is kicking. Now Naruto comes in, Sasuke comes in, and they're all kicking against what looks like nothing. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and pass that page, and they're all getting hit. Right. Naruto catches Sakura. And then of course now we get to the whole. I wonder if Sasuke-kun still cares about in the least. Okay, and then we just.
That's terrible.
For all our own sakes, let's just move past that. And then Naruto. Then we get the whole thing. Naruto. Yeah. Now they go ahead and get it. Okay. And so now we're gonna have Madara's shadow has multiplied into 4. Now he has both eyes. He can do both things. I'm just going to kind of press on. If anybody's got anything, go ahead and throw it out, and we'll stop. And then Madara throws. Okay. we know how Madara likes meteors, right? So, I mean, now we get meteors coming down.
Got a cue of certain Pink Man's music right now.
Yeah. This is pretty interesting. I do like the way it works out, though. I guess we'll see. These raindrops are going to be a bit harder and bigger than you're used to. There's Madara. He's got Madara right, I have to say. I think most people have been pretty happy with. I haven't heard too many complaints about Madara, except for him being too overpowered and be able to do things without eyes.
I personally think they want to make sure they can beat him at full power. So earlier on, when Sasuke decided to save the second Hokage, he could have put on Rise out the first Hokage. It could have been him, Madara, Naruto, and Hashi against Madara, and that would have been the end of the manga. But no.
So we kept it going. So it was, yeah. Now the only counter to that would be like those rods would have sucked his chakra out. You know, if he'd have touched him.
No.
I wonder if all those
Maybe.
meteors Madara made, they're all the same size as the one Nagato made. Like, do you think they're all as big as that one that Naruto made, that one moon that he trapped the Kyuubi in?
Oh, that one? I don't know. I mean, that we'd have to look at. I mean, because now we're gonna. I do like the way it gets broken up. That Naruto takes the shadows down below because he can make the multiple clones.
Mm-hmm.
And what does everybody think about Sasuke's Susanoo in here?
It's pretty epic.
I think it looks like a Gundam.
It's the best Susanoo I've seen yet.
Yep.
I mean,
True.
it pretty much looks identical to the one Indra used.
So he's flying. He's dual wielding swords, right? And he's knocking these things out right and left.
And Naruto made a Biju Dama Rasen Shuriken. It's like a giant planet wind Rasen Shuriken. It's sick.
Okay, now I'm on the page. You know, there's a couple of interesting things here. The page that shows the close-up of Sasuke in the Susanoo, the face,
Mhm.
all the holes in it, which looks pretty epic, right? And it shows him chomping and everything. Something that was somebody actually pointed out was that now this is comedy. I saw the comedy in the panel on the down below with Naruto. Naruto's like, take this and this and Suma this and you bastard. You know, Naruto's it's funny, but he's fighting, right?
Alright.
But the thing that was pointed out I didn't catch was Kakashi is sitting there watching Naruto jumping around, seemingly hitting nothing.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was Sawyer 7 or Forever World, but I started cracking up when I thought about this. It is true.
Definitely.
So Kakashi's like, well, he finally went nuts. he's finally gone all the way, and he's fighting nothing again. Or it was like when he fought Itachi, you know, that one time. They said you're just jumping around, punching at the air. So anyway, anybody got anything on that? Well, actually, let me go ahead and just skip to the next page. Okay, we're actually at the end. We can always go back. All right, we're at the end, and this is the part where Madara opens his third eye. Okay. So let's go ahead. Anything toward the end of the chapter anybody wants to think about? As a matter of, yeah.
So the question is Madara still where he was, or did he fly into outer space? Because look how close the moon is. The moon is ridiculously close in that picture.
It kind of showed up conveniently, but you know, do you think did anyone not see the Infinite Tsukiyami coming?
I've been hoping it's going to come, but like I say, I want people to be in this dream world like the Matrix and be tempted and have to actually be able to get the pick reality, be able to. They're going to have to pick a harsh reality over a nice fantasy. It's going to be tough for a lot of people. I'd like to see it.
You know, the Madara has that eye on his head, and Kaguya did too, but so did the tree. So, like, I'm just curious. I'm just wondering, like, when you get both Rinnegan, like, well, does Madara have the? Oh, Madara has the Biju inside.
Right? Just getting the Rinnegan did do it. But if you notice that before the eye opens, the slit in the forehead. In all the pictures, if I remember correctly, all the pictures of the mother, of the sage of the sixth path, all of them show her with that thing in her forehead, that slit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it looks like he's taken the path of we've talked about this before, of the mother, right? Which is just dominate everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is now, will Naruto and Sasuke be immune because they have the six paths in them, or will people have to look at the moon to get put in the Genjutsu? Like, how do you think this is going to work?
Well, creatively, before I'll go right to you, James, and I need to get to Anthony in here. Is that creatively think about what can happen. Sasuke can can live. What is Sasuke's fantasy? What does he want? What world does he want to live in? Where's Hokage and everybody's a Uchiha? I mean,
Yeah,
so
His
maybe,
name restored.
yeah. I mean, so we could find that out. But anyway, James, go ahead.
I think for this story to work from now with the Infinite Tsukuyomi being implemented, that we're going to see a lot of chapters where they're actually enjoying their ideal worlds. Like with Sasuke, we're going to see the full Uchiha clan doing whatever they do, and with Naruto, we're going to see him and him and his family. Actually, him getting to know his parents and being friends with Sasuke without conflict.
I totally buy into that, and I think that if Kishi spends a little bit of time on this, it could be phenomenal. Michael G, what do you think?
Well, I would like to see it how NW Order said that Sasuke and Naruto are immune to it and have to fight Madara to beat him to beat the Infinite Tsukuyomi out. Maybe that's how you stop it. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see that. I don't know how Kishi's gonna do it, but that seems like a pretty good way to do it.
All right, and Anthony, I haven't got to you at all yet. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how long this Infinite Tsukuyomi is going to take to activate. I mean, he cast the last page showed him casting it actually on the moon, right? Let me go to it real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it shows like all the like the pattern of the Rinnegan and the Sharingan on the moon. Like, how long does that take? And like you said, like, does everyone have to look at it? You know, are we actually going to get a bunch of chapters where people are in the Tsukuyomi? I just don't think we have enough info yet to make
Let me read this for you. It says this is at the very bottom. The next chapter, the nightmare finally blooms. As the world is engulfed within the great Gengetsu, what happens to Naruto? And it's in
Wait, what page is that?
It's at the very bottom of the last page.
Oh,
It shows
I see.
Madara opening his eyes. At the very bottom it says that. Next chapter, the nightmare finally blooms.
That's actually not the last page.
Oh, it's
One
not?
before
It
last
says
page.
the end. It says end right there. Is this another
Yeah.
thing where it says end? And it
There's
doesn't?
another page where
Oh,
Wait,
yeah, there we go.
I'm on the page after that. It says the eternal nightmare begins.
This is another one where the pages are not, it says end and it's not the last one.
Yeah, you
Okay.
know, I always go past that because you never know. You know, Bleach does that a heck of a lot, and that bugs me because sometimes I've missed out on a page, you know, on a chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I don't know. I guess I'm more overwhelmed that it's actually happening. I mean, how long has this plan been talked about in the series? And now
For a
it's
long
finally
time.
happening. Like, so long. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that it's not being talked about anymore. You know, all throughout this world, oh, Infinite Tsukuyomi, and no one's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, now it's happening. And I think that's a really big a big step in the right direction. I'm really happy that it's actually going down now. You know, so
Yeah.
So a big thing is what I don't know, is that everyone gets engulfed in this. Okay, except Madara controls it. So that means I think Naruto and Sasuke are going to be in it. But then again, since they've got all these sage abilities, as some of you guys are saying, they're going to still be fighting Madara while everybody else is inside that thing. So I don't know. I still would like to see Sasuke in there and see what he's thinking. But
now after they're all in it, are they all going to be absorbed by the tree, like it was before? Like remember
Well,
when
the
they were
tree's
all?
gone, right?
He's gone. Like
I
it got
thought it was still standing.
No, it got absorbed by Madara.
Did it?
Yeah.
No, Naruto cut it.
Oh yeah.
Naruto chopped it right off with the four tails.
With the lava Rasen
Yeah.
Shuriken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you know, I don't remember that. They actually got chopped down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Shows how much I paid, touching egg.
oh, I missed things. Well, I missed the last page of this chapter. So what is that? Yeah, I like seeing that. It's on the moon. Okay.
Just when the tree was standing back in the day, and it showed that flashback with all the people in the Genjutsu and they were
Yeah.
being like absorbed. I mean, is there any point for people being in the Genjutsu if the tree's not around? I mean.
Let's get past it. I think we can just get past the tree. because the whole thing is the Gengetsu. It's the idea of everybody getting trapped in this thing, and we're going. I know I'm getting like super repetitive, but and being tempted, right? And being tempted and finding out what these things are they really want, and having to turn it down.
Maybe they'll be absorbed into Madara, since Madara absorbed the tree.
But what good will that do? I don't understand if that were to happen. I mean, Madara is almost a god.
Yeah.
Right.
What good will
Almost,
that
he
do?
is a god.
Well,
Yeah.
what it means is everybody's completely passive. There's no one to fight against. Everyone buys into their illusion,
Right.
and or delusion or whatever, and he rules forever.
Right. So I see three possible options here. The first one is that Naruto, Sasuke, and everyone is just engulfed in the Tsukuyomi, and Naruto is the one that breaks out of it because of his will and his, because of all his resolution with his mother and his parents and everything. Like, he has nothing to bind him there, so he breaks out of it. The other thing I see happening is the second option would be that everybody gets put in Infinite Tsukuyomi except for Naruto and Sasuke because of their abilities with the Sage, and they have to fight Madara to end it. And then while they're in the middle of their fight or towards the end of the fight, as a deciding factor, Obito will be the death of Madara or seal Madara or whatever. And then the third option that I see is that everyone gets put in Infinite Tsukuyomi, Sasuke and Naruto included, and Obito, after many chapters of flashbacks, Obito is the one. Obito is the one that breaks the Infinite Tsukuyomi somehow, some way, and saves everybody from Madara.
Oh man, I hope that third one doesn't happen.
Well,
Obito has done his part, man. He's done. Let him, I don't know. Either he dies or he goes away. Something he needs to be.
Hey, do you guys think the Infinite Potion would be cast as like a barrier seal?
What do you mean?
Alright, you know how they had the Ghetto Mazda, how it's being sealed off like a barrier? Do you think the Infinite Tsukuyomi would cast as like a barrier around the world?
No, I think it's more like a state of mind more than a barrier.
yeah, well, it's like projected off of the moon. It's like the moon is projecting it onto the planet. So
Right.
I think that's how it works.
Alright.
Yeah, and then I mean God, what was it called? The Limited Tsukuyomi in the Naruto movie. I mean, that was pretty convincing. I mean, Naruto even fell into that for a while, so it wouldn't surprise me if this Infinite Tsukuyomi really gets to people,
Yeah,
I just hope we actually
I'm
get to
glad,
that point.
Anthony, I'm glad you brought that up because that does key into what we already know, something that Kishi has, already kind of done it, right? So in a small way. So this would be probably the big way now, possibly.
Yeah. I'm just
All right.
glad it's happening. It's a great step.
Yeah. I think we're all relieved this thing is moving on, right?
Yeah.
Finally.
How many of you guys actually think that Obito is dead right now? That he's not coming back?
I do.
I think he's in the middle, like in and out.
You think he's coming back, Sean? That's the real question. Is there going to be more Obito later?
No, he's not dead. He's coming back.
He's got to
Don't
come
say
back.
that.
He's the nuclear cockroach, man.
Yeah.
It's the reason why his eye is closed. His eye is closed to symbolize that he's not in control.
Well, yeah, because I looked at that and I said, okay, eventually that eye's going to open and we're going to know that Obito's back. I buy into the Conley Bob. I totally buy into the Conley Bob 9 Roach theory.
I mean, if he really wanted to control him, he might as well just kill him than Edo Tensei him,
Yeah.
instead of
would've-
using the Black Zetsu, because obviously he could fight the Black Zetsu for a limited amount of time. So let's say he can't do it again,
Yeah, right. If we would have saw Obito lose his eye in that dimension, get stabbed, and or whatever what Madara do to him, and then you see him slowly die in a puddle of blood, I would say Obito's dead. He's not coming back. But no, we saw nothing. Now we hear a villain say, "Oh, he's dead. He'll never come back again." That doesn't mean nothing in fiction.
He's a big enough character to where he needs to have his big death,
Yeah, I mean, big enough character. He was the villain for most of the manga. He is responsible for Naruto being who he is. He's responsible for his parents being dead, etc., etc. So I mean, like yeah.
And that's why I'm saying that's why I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, there's no way Kishi would just write him off like that. He has to give him a big scene.
I think he's off with a big bang in a way.
All right, so we want to go ahead. Are we done with this? We want to go ahead and touch on the anime for a little bit, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, because I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about with the anime. But we done with this? Can we move on? Is there anything about this chapter anybody wants to bring up before we move on?
Not really. I mean, I really hope that once Madara's out of the picture, that Sakura gets something better than what she's getting right now, because I think that's a big part of why she's so irrelevant, and he can't write her well is because she has no function in the war, in the fight against Madara. She's useless, and there's just no way to write her to where she matters. And I think that once Madara's out of the picture, she won't matter again, because it's been all about Sasuke. And as much as we don't like that, once Sasuke's in the center again, then she's going to matter and she'll play a bigger part, and I think she'll be written a little better. So,
I mean, if I was Kishi, I could have wrote that better. I could have made her relevant. Basically, like create like a medical barrier jutsu that she learned, that she spent all her years studying or something.
I think all of us here could. I think all of us could have made it
but it's hard.
But now we're getting back into
being an asshole.
Yeah, okay, but let's go ahead and move on, because we're getting into the infinite Sakura problem with Kishi.
Yeah, I'm done. I just
it's like a black hole, man. That's why I said I just want to make sure we can get past it.
A big black hole.
All right. Now the anime. Okay, there was a lot of Obito and trash talk about people being trash, and who wants to open up on the anime? Because I watched it and I wasn't that,
Obito is a badass.
I already I'm sorry.
Shuriken to the knee and then double shuriken slash on the chest. Like he got freaking awesome.
He's already from his limited amount of time in the anime without the mask. He's already better than what he was in the entirety of the manga. I mean, I think that this anime is going to do him so many favors. I like his voice actor. I like the way he's acting, just the movements, the music, all that, and just what NW Order for Life just said. He had all these badass moves with his shuriken, and I just think this anime is going to make him a bigger, I guess, more popular than he was in the manga.
Yeah, I mean, look at that scene where he's getting punched by Kakashi in the stomach, and then he just shifts into the other dimension. Like, you would never be able to see that in the manga.
Yeah.
It just looks so flawless. It looks great.
I'm not an Obito fan, so for me this was a long episode. It was like...
And I can't wait to that part where Kakashi and him fight in the Kamui world.
Yeah.
And he gets him through the chest, and he starts talking about the current Obito and stuff. That's going to be a powerful episode.
All right. Okay. So this episode right here, like I said, I thought this would be maybe 5 minutes, everybody. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about from this last anime episode, which is the beginning of the canon again? So, anything at all, Michael Gethman? You got anything about the anime? Or, I don't know if you guys watched it or.
I haven't watched it. No.
Okay. All right. Well, we can go ahead and move on. We can move on. I tell you what, though, since we did do that kind of quick, I will open this back up. Anthony, Michael, is there anything that you guys want to talk about? Just a few minutes from this episode. Anything you want to touch on real quick that we haven't covered?
I thought Naruto looked really good. Him and Eight Tails using that double. Gigantic BB Dama looks so much better in the anime than in the manga.
Yeah.
Like, it was gigantic, and the explosion that resulted from it was awesome.
Right.
And then Obito's line, like, Kashi's like, "Is it finally finished?" And Obito's like, "Yeah, for you." It was epic, and then the tail beast, the 10 tails emerges.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was really good. Naruto's fight with the wooden dragon was kind of cut a little bit, because in the manga.
I don't want to recap the whole episode. I just want to hit on a couple things. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about at the end of this, which we're about done with. Go ahead and start talking about the latest episode of Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I want to talk about Hunter x Hunter right at the end of this. I'll just throw in a Hunter chat thing on the end of this video.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I do. I love it. And I don't want to do a separate one. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it onto this one if you guys don't mind.
I got a question for everybody. Do you think Kakashi will have a better chance of fighting Madara without his Sharingan?
I do. I think, like I say, I think that he's going to be able to use his abilities at full strength now. And
Yeah, I don't.
I think his lightning abilities and everything, I think we're going to get to see him do stuff at a higher level as far as that. But I don't know what he can do. But since he doesn't have any eye abilities or anything, I don't think he can do anything directly. He may be able to do something to help free Obito in the end. That might be what he'd be able to do. But as far as fighting Madara, I don't think so.
Because it looks like Team 7 versus Madara.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. Like, we got to talk about that. The last chapter, we had the whole Team 7, climax. Like, oh, we're going to work together, just like the Bell test. And nothing like that happened.
Nothing like it.
What a disappointment that was. That was just a huge troll.
Well, imagine, like I said, imagine how Kakashi feels. Well, like I said, I really don't want to open up all this other business. But, see, Michael Gethin and lessons. Okay, so let's go ahead and like I say, there's a few things we can get in, we can go at, but I kind of want to talk about some Hunter x Hunter if you guys don't mind. Is that all right with everybody?
Hey,
That's cool.
You know I love me some Hunter, man.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I got up in a few chapters.
Did you?
Are you past the spiders yet? Did you say did you get to the ants?
Yeah, I passed the ants part.
Did you finish the ants arc?
Yeah, I'm on the part where they had the election, and Kahlua went to his family to see his little sister.
Well, good. As a matter of fact, okay, for everybody watching this, we are officially done with the Naruto part. We are now in the. If you don't want to get spoiled from the latest episode of Hunter x Hunter, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff that you guys. I guess that's what we're going to talk about. All right, and now you're totally caught up, Sean, which is brilliant. But before we really get into it, and Michael Gethin just dropped because he's not caught up yet. But James.
Yes.
Sean was where you were at right now. He knew some stuff about it and everything. Sean, is there any? We've talked about this before. Is there anything you could tell James? James only seen like an episode and read the first chapter. Is there anything you could tell him since you just now totally got into this within the last 2 or 3 weeks? Watching Hunter x Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you could tell him as somebody that just recently got into it to give him an idea about comparing it to Naruto or comparing it to whatever to kind of help him decide if he wants to,
Well, when it comes to like, I would say like their abilities, like Naruto is like all over the place, but Hunter x Hunter, like they actually explain how it works, how it's on defense, how it's on offense, like the whole 9 yards. So it's pretty much a better writing regarding to their abilities. And well, for me, I got up to the part where they had the York City auction. That's where it took me and makes me want to read it more. So I don't know what chapter he's on. Like what chapter you on?
Well, he's just seen like one episode and then he's read one chapter. Right?
Yeah, this one, and King fought, I can't say Hakaramo there, the old guy with the beard.
Yeah, he just jumped ahead. So I would say what I tell most people is that the first arc where the prisoners are is where you really start to see the way he narrates.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like Steve said, when they get to like when they have to go down the tower and then fight off the prisoners, like that's when things get like okay, now it's starting to get serious a little bit.
And people die. I don't want to name anything specific, but even people you think in a lot of other animes are safe, women, kids, and everything, everybody dies in this series. People die. It isn't like how Fairy Tail is, where nobody dies. It's like people die.
Yeah, it's also not like excessive like Attack on Titan though. Like Attack on Titan seems like they just kill people to kill people sometimes. But it's like it's not like they're just killing people for shock value. It actually means something. It usually has a purpose, in my opinion, at least.
Exactly. So if you want to hang out with us, Sean, you're more than happy. But personally, you're going to get spoiled like crazy. So you might, or not Sean, excuse me, James. So James, you might want to go ahead and, like I said, James, you're more likely to stay, but you're going to get spoiled like crazy. So if you want to hang out with us, fine. But you might be better just to go, check it out, or maybe you don't want to. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm about to call it a night.
All right. But like I say, it would probably take about 8 or, if you want to, and I realize you got time. If you want to, it would take 8 or 9 episodes to watch to get to the prison or something like that. But I realize you got, you get like everybody, you got time constraints. So.
All right, guys. It was good to see y'all next time.
All right, take
care, man.
Take care.
Episode 129. Oh my gosh! I want to open up with this. Oh, you know what I wondered about? Let me go back just a second. The whole thing with the king, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering why did he have 2 characters that sacrificed himself for me? I'm like, I can understand having Yuppie or Poof, but I'm like, why did both of them have to sacrifice part of their bodies for the king? And now I know why. Because they're both connected to the king now in a pretty big way. But Yuppie is the one that keeps telling the truth. He did the bad things, but he keeps telling the truth. And Pooh is the one that keeps lying. So you had a contrast of the 2 characters in the way the king deals with them, right? I mean, Yuppie, what did Yuppie do? He let the enemy, not just let the enemy go, but he even let a traitor go. Let them all live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he evolved to have a sense of honor, this emotion, this sense of honor. He's like, well, if I would have gone back on my word, I would have lost in some way, right? And the king forgives him. So, but Poof won't quit with the lie. It's just amazing. But anyway, I could go on and on about this. But what do you guys think about this?
It looked like he was forced to lie.
Well, he feels like he's forced to lie because of his ideology, which is the Queen's ideology, right? It's everything for the ants. There's no trace. He doesn't want to have any humanity, right?
Yeah.
There's no honor. There's just winning for the ants. And the king is kind of not going that route.
Yeah, there's a fundamental difference, like the way they act as royal guards. I mean, Poof is more like he's loyal not to the king, but to what he feels the king should be, or his what he should stand for as a king. To rule over humans, rule over the planet.
Yeah.
And Yuppie, he's more. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what he doesn't care what the king does. He's loyal to the king himself, and it's a big difference between. I think Pito's like that too, and that's showed by how devoted she is to Kamugi and how Poof doesn't give a crap. So it's a big difference, and and I almost wonder if Poof would have turned out. I already said this before about. I wonder if Poof would have turned out like that if he would have had the long, drawn out interactions with the hunters like Pito and Yuppie did, because a lot of their evolution came, during those time periods. So.
Right.
And he was always like kind of segmented. He spent most of his time with Morel in that cocoon, and then he flew away and. I don't know. He's just a schemer. He's a schemer.
Yeah. He'll follow the king's orders to the letter, but undermine it as he sees fit.
Yeah. He's willing to do things that he feels are best for the king against his will, and Yuppie and Pito are just going to do whatever the king says, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
They're never going to go against him.
And Poof he's willing to die for this. He's sort of like, even if they, get me as a traitor and kill me, I'm still gonna. This is what's best for the ants, is to get rid of that girl, and then the board. Right? There's a point where he's like, I got to get rid of the game board because he might, that might trigger his memory.
Oh yeah, the Gungi board. Yeah.
But if you notice the tension in it, like I was talking to you, you said back in comments in this episode, because it's Togashi steps us through this step. Like first, it's okay. He can't believe what Yuppie's saying. Yes, he goes to I let him go. I had a chance to kill him. I felt. And then Poof's like, and then Poof always adds on because he's like, okay, now kill him. Because we're Chimera ants, and you are a traitor. You didn't do the right thing, and now we Chimera ants will kill you. And the king does it, right? And then when the thing comes out as the traitor, he piles on there. Poof is like, you let a traitor go, you let a traitor live, right? Because he's thinking once again, okay, now the king's gonna whack him, and he's like, and Yuppie every time is like, he's so loyal, as everybody's pointed out. He's like, hey, I just did it. I couldn't help it. I'll take whatever punishment you have for me. You know.
Yeah.
And Poof is just
punish him. He's kind of like lets it go.
He lets it go. He says, I know we've evolved. He even explains it. I love the dialogue that Togashi does with this. He's like, look, humanity is like our test. Okay? And for us, we can't completely evolve to where we need to be without humanity, because we're going to sacrifice humanity. And it'll always be some little piece of us once we're through this, but we have to work through this, right? And we're just going to have to understand that some of us are going to have these emotions, we're going to have some un-Chimera ant-like stuff, but all through this, and he keeps telling him, just tell me the truth, right? You could just see it, the tension. The Poof's like, does the king know? Because they're connected, right? Is this the king's final warning to me? But he keeps being, Poof, and keeps undermining.
It's like he's dancing around what the question really is. Because he kind of had like a little strategy. I forgot what part it is when he's trying to go back to the palace.
Yeah.
And Poof, he's like, I have to like use a strategy against the king, but I'm only tell the truth.
Yeah.
So he kind of tells the truth without even saying the truth itself.
You're talking about Poof. Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's not lying exactly to the king. He's
not the story of it.
Yeah, he's not telling the whole thing.
He's omitting the truth. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
There's a difference.
But the king just keeps telling him, just tell me the truth. That's all you need. Even if whatever you've done, we'll work through it, but I need to know the truth. And Poof is just misleading and every other kind of thing.
And the king is such a blank slate as he is right now. It's like, it's hard to predict how he's going to react to what his royal guards are telling him. Like, throughout the entire, at least for me, throughout the entire episode, like, I'd read the manga, but I sped through it so quickly, I don't remember a lot of it. When every time the royal guards would say something to him, there'd be that kind of, like, little bit of a pause where, like, you don't know what the king's going to say. You don't know if he's going to kill him. You don't know if he's going to, if he's going to do something else. There's just this mystery, like, you can just cut the tension in the air with a knife.
And when Poof thinks that he's home free, he's like, look at all the people here to worship you. And he thinks, this is it. He'll see what I want him to see, and he'll forget about the girl. He'll get back engrossed into being the king of the Chimera ants, which he needs to be. And then he's elated. He's like, I've done it. I've scored. I've touched. I got the touchdown. I made it. And then all of a sudden the king is like, I know I'm forgetting something. I know that you could just, there's something that I just need to know, and it's like, Poof's like, son of a gun. And that's, if I remember right, that's when he thinks of the board, the game board. He's like, oh gosh, that could ruin me too. I got to get rid of that. And, oh yeah.
Yeah, that shows you how much Kamugi impacted him. If he can feel that, even though he doesn't remember, it's part of him.
Yes.
The experiences that he had with her, everything they learned from her, everything that she changed in him.
Right.
He can remember all of that. Well, he can't remember it, but he feels that's gone, even though he doesn't know what it is.
A lot of his strategy, he was even saying when he was fighting, was from playing her. He kept relating to that. Well, I've seen this before. It's when we were playing the game.
Yep.
So she helped him to evolve and to understand everything so much more. Well, anyway, we'll go ahead and open it up for a little while. Is there anything else in this? You guys want? It's a big. It was. I don't know. I love the writing. There's a lot to dig into if you guys want.
Well, I wanted to touch on the whole part with Poof chasing he was chasing Killua.
Yeah.
And how he starts to like yelling that, or Poof starts yelling that stuff out, and the Kamugi starts like hitting him on the head when he's running. He's like, it was comical. She's just like struggling. She has no. I mean, just think how confusing that must be. You know, she's totally blind. She can't. I mean, she has all her other senses, but that vision is just like blocking her from what's going on. You know, she has no clue what's going on around her. You know.
Yeah, her being blind has reached a whole new level of helplessness, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's crazy. And man, even though Killua was fighting a clone, I mean, it makes me wonder how strong he is in that Godspeed mode. Because I mean, he says he puts that circle around. He's like, you step in here, man. Shit's gonna go down, and he steps in there, and his face gets all messed up. And like I said, it's a clone, but I mean, he's still a royal guard. How strong is Killua? You know, I want to know if he could actually, take on one of these royal guards in their full strength. It just seems like he's.
Remember how he recharged his electricity in an outlet, if I remember right?
Yeah, that was great.
So,
it was my question.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of like disappointed.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see how the royal guards actually fight. Like, they fought halfway and then they just stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way because they were too powerful. If you had had the king and all his royal guard together, they didn't stand a chance in hell at all.
What got me the most is I forgot what this guy's name. The guy that could make teleports.
Oh yeah.
Remember
the guy that looked like he was at the end of it looked like he was dying of AIDS?
Nav.
Oh, you mean the guy that could port into different areas, or who? Which?
Yeah, the monk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like remember how he trying to make the teleport by the staircase, and he felt Pito's aura.
Yeah.
How he just got messed up all of a sudden. Like that's what got me.
He got you in like what way?
Like damn, things about to get very serious. Somebody gonna die. Like what's gonna happen?
Well, it's interesting how someone's evil intent and aura mixed together can actually have a physical manifestations, right?
Yeah, because he completely like broke down, and then all of a sudden like Gon is the one to like actually fight Pito.
Yeah, well, he's kind of psychotic.
Well, that opens up the whole thing of Gon's mental state right now. He is gone. He's completely.
He's a psychopath. He's like some guy on a bunch of Novocaine. He doesn't feel the pain,
If all we knew was Gon, if we only knew the Gon from the last few episodes, if that's the only Gon we knew, then we would go, Gon is an evil character. He's a bad guy.
Oh yeah, and that's what makes him such a good protagonist, because he doesn't fall into that that very common shonen main character role that's you see in everything nowadays. That pure. I mean, I wouldn't say he's not pure-hearted, but he just does. He doesn't always think about the consequences of it. He's more inward thinking than a lot of these other than maybe Naruto or another shonen protagonist. That one part, like a good example, that one part where he said he was going to kill Kamugi.
Right.
I mean, this innocent little girl, and he's going to kill her just so he can have his way. And that's just, I mean, you don't see that anymore,
He's willing to kill, he's willing to kill some innocent person he doesn't even know just to get his way. So, he's completely gone. The whole thing kind is completely, he's a bad guy, right at this moment.
Yeah, he's He's very inward thinking. He doesn't really care about his surroundings. As long as he gets his, that's what matters to him most right now.
Of course, he ends up. Of course, you're basically past the end arc. Everybody's past this. Everybody's already read the manga past this arc, right?
I didn't. Yeah, I read up. I didn't finish it though. I read up to the part where
Well, as long as you're done with the arc, everyone's done with this arc, though.
Yeah. I'm done.
Right.
Well, is Michael done? I mean, is he in there?
You talking about me?
Yeah. You haven't said much.
Yeah, I've read all of Hunter x Hunter.
Okay, so, well, we could talk a little bit more past it, I guess, but Gon pays for it. He pays.
Oh yeah, he does. He
pays. So he personally pays for it. So going by the extreme, but I mean, yeah, this is even now with Gon. This is what Togashi is so awesome at. Is who thought that he would go there? Sean, did you ever think Gon would actually go so far to try to help his friend that he would turn evil?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, at first I was kind of confused until I had to reread it, and it kind of makes sense into his perspective.
Because Gon's thing is always to achieve his goals. That's like Gon's thing. And even Killua was like, no, he'll succeed. If Gon has set his mind to it, he will succeed. He will do it. He will achieve it. And he is, and Gon here, well, guess what? Sometimes you can't achieve your goals, right?
I'm actually kind of confused at one part. Is Gon in the hospital because of his arm, or of how he grew up using that power? Like, what was he in the hospital for?
Oh, you mean because like what you said, because he used an ability that made him he couldn't win the way he was, right? So he basically sacrificed himself, his life long term, to become more powerful short term, and he's going to die.
Yeah, didn't he rapidly aged, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he did. He sacrificed. Yeah, he sacrificed the rest of his life to become an adult, powerful enough to achieve his goals at the moment, at the price of going to die.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, and considering how strong Pito was, I mean, I don't remember very well, but he practically one-shots her, doesn't he?
Yeah, like on the back of the head. No, I think the front of the base to a tree.
He does his Jajankin, and then that's it, pretty much. And I'm interested to see this animated and see the reaction in the community about how people, because I see a lot of people in the comments of YouTube and stuff all expecting some grand like battle, and that's totally not what it is.
Yeah,
it's a very short thing. He freaks out, punches her, she's dead. There's no long drawn out thing or anything, and I'm interested to see how people react to that. But who knows? It may be a little different animated.
Can you imagine how everybody's going to react when that first new chapter comes out?
Oh man, I just hope the art is good. I really hope the art is good.
Oh yeah, I would almost take Stickman as long as the writing's there, and then we get it turned into anime. But I agree with you. Hopefully it's better. But also, I want to say something about the new arc. You know how big this next arc? That might have been part of what it is. He's like, you know what? In order to get this, because he's going to another world, right?
See, I didn't get up to the very end, so I don't.
You're not done with the chapters?
No, I got up to the right up to the
part
where he's on, like, his sister's on his back and he's like running from those butlers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
That's where I'm at, and I never finished it, so I'm close.
Okay. Well, it just opens it up. I'm not going to go too far on this, and we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. But anyway, it's going to be big. It's going to be. It looks like
I might have to finish it tonight.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to start. I mean, the size and scope of the amount of characters that are introduced and all the stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be huge, huge.
I'm reading.
That makes me excited.
I'll
read it now.
But it's just, I mean, it's literally like it's like, oh my God, they're going to spend so many chapters just to even get the tip of this iceberg started. You know, there's so much they're going to go. So it was, so it might, like I said, it might have contributed to it. But anyway, yeah, I feel, well, anyway, yeah, the writing and everything. And Sean, I'm so glad that you got it. And hopefully James will get some time, although it doesn't sound like he's sold on it yet. You know, because everybody's always telling everybody about how great it is.
I like the people's abilities. Like these abilities are like so brand new.
Well, instead of us, have you noticed the difference between the difference? Well, we haven't really done chapter reviews yet, but if you noticed how much time we spend on talking about things that are actually laid out as opposed to speculating.
Yeah.
We go, you know, the writing on this was done. We go, oh my gosh, and the way he did that, as opposed to what was going on here. You know, it's yeah, it's much better. So, Michael, what about this? Did you watch episode 129, Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you think?
I like the part with Killua, and he made like the lightning circle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. It was a good episode. You know, I kind of like get kind of bored with the king's mentality and all that stuff. Like just like because they go too much. They spend too much time like focusing on like how the king and his subordinates are connected, and like I feel like we could have cut that down by like at least like 5 minutes in the episode.
Okay, so this for you. This has been kind of stretched out.
Yeah.
I want to jump onto something everybody's alluded to. The whole idea, and this is a Hunter x Hunter thing. Instead of just poof coming in here and just fighting, right? You have the whole thing about him. They're trying to figure out who the target is, right? So that's a very Hunter x Hunter. He's like, okay, here's Palm here. She opens the door, and she's like, okay, you going to go this way, or are you going to go after, Killa? Who are you trying to get? And it takes a while before Killa goes, holy cow, he's not after me, he's after her, right? But the part that really gets me is during the fight, the whole gamesmanship way of Togashi thinks. He's able to use his ability, because he can manipulate people, right? Is just to use a small little bit on her to make her paranoid about Killua. So now she's fighting him, right? And that's, instead of just going in and fighting, there's always more levels to it. And that's another thing I love about Togashi. I feel about Togashi how a lot of people feel about One Piece.
Oh,
about the writing.
Yeah, Oda.
Yeah, Oda. Because the way a lot of people talk about Oda and One Piece is the same way I feel about Togashi.
Yeah, I agree with you 110% there. Everyone's always I'm not saying he's not deserving of it, but everyone's always fawning over him, and he's so great, and I understand he may be great, but man, I say the same kind of stuff about Togashi. So.
Well, yeah, I just didn't like the character, so I got 36 episodes into One Piece. But if anybody likes both of them, fine. I got no problem with Oda. It's just not for me. But it is the same feel. So now I understand what it's like when you have a writer that's really got all these, I's dotted and T's crossed, and things work out really good. But this was go ahead. All right. Was there anything? This is a long chapter for Michael, and I guess we're about done with this part of it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about Hunter x Hunter-ish? Or?
I was gonna ask, like, it's a question for everybody. Like, who you think who has like the best ability? Like, who ability do you like?
I mean, I really liked Kite's ability. I'm really mad we didn't get to see more of it.
Well, for entertainment value, I mean, it works, but for entertainment, Kites was just amazing. The whole interaction with him, because he's like, because you're sitting there like, oh gosh, what's he gonna get, right?
Yeah, it's just a mystery.
The whole slot machine thing, and the thing talks, and here we go, and he's like, oh god, not this, and that's a fine weapon. It's not wrong. But
and it's totally against his mannerisms and how Kite was. You didn't think he'd have like a clown, a clown face and a slot machine. You think he'd have some kind of like some discreet, weapon that takes finesse, and it's just totally the weapon he has is like totally goofy, and it relies on totally random attributes, and it's so not him. When he first pulled it out, I'm like, what the heck is this? Oh, it
Yeah,
was a
his
joke or something.
It probably symbolizes like his inner self. Like what you see like the calm exterior, but inside he's a nut or something. He's unpredictable, and that's why his weapon is unpredictable.
Well, for gamesmen, I look at it in the gaming aspect. All the guns are overpowered, right? So how do you balance this out? What are the limitations on it? He can't pick which one he gets, but he has to use it once before he can roll the dice again or pull the lever to see what his other gun is. So that's the balancing factor. Because if the guns are so overpowered, if he could just pick the actual one that he wanted, he would be undefeatable, I guess. There's always got to be a balancing factor. Remember when I can't pronounce the guy's name, like Krupa, the one with that had the he had that ability. Krapika. He had that ability to where he could defeat any of the spiders, but the thing. But what was it? But he had that thing going to his heart, so that if he used his abilities on anybody else, it'd kill him. There's always a limiting factor. It's the gaming stuff at Togashi comes through with everything. Things can't be. You can't have Superman because then you have to invent kryptonite, right? Right. So he doesn't make things too overpowered. And anytime anything is very powerful, there's always these limiting factors. It keeps it within the realm, right?
I was a big fan of Genthru from the Greed Island arc, the bomber.
Yeah.
How he could like place a bomb on you, and you didn't know it, and you had to like touch him and say that I caught the bomber in order to defuse it, or you just blow up.
Right.
He's always got these like very unique abilities. And then how what was the guy's name? The lion, Chimera.
Yeah.
He had that like iPod or something, and that
he could borrow people's abilities.
Yeah, and it was just like printed out, and like it was all based on people owing him favors. And it's just there's so much variety there, In Naruto and stuff, it's all like there's a lot of variety and stuff for powers, but it's all kind of based in the same, they all have like the same roots. But in Hunter, it's just like so random. You don't know what the heck it's gonna be.
Yeah, I like the morals. The guy with the large pipe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Morale. He's one of my favorite characters. He's a great character.
What do you think of that battle? Because when I talked to you last, you were like in the beginning or the middle of that battle between him and the lion. What do you think about that battle, Sean?
Oh, I liked that battle because it looked like a one-sided battle.
Yeah, did he like suck the air out of the dome or something?
No, like the lion ended up using some type of ability to make waves, and it was flooding the whole building.
Yeah.
But since Morale has like a large lung capacity that he could stay underwater for like 10 minutes or something, he was just like blowing air bubbles, and like. No, I was gonna say like Mao always had like the upper hand on him, so it kind of like a one-sided battle.
Well, Morale knew the ability. He says, "Wait a minute, that's not your ability. I know who that is. That's a friend of mine." So he already knew his ability and how to counter it. So he had the upper hand that way. Almost everything Kakashi does ends up going to the strategy in some way.
It almost seemed like some kind of like joke that the guy who smokes has the biggest lung capacity.
Right.
But
Deep purple. Yeah, he could make it.
And that Smoky Jail.
His ability.
Oh, you know who had a really cool ability was that pink hair girl from the Phantom Troop who had the sewing needles. I can't remember her name.
Oh, the one that reattached
Hisoka's arm.
Yeah, Hisoka's arm.
Yeah, and then that I don't know if it was part of his ability, or her ability, but when Kilo went to kill her, he like stabbed his hand in her chest. She like caught it with her like pec muscles or something, and it's just like, geez, man, it's just crazy. Everyone, I'm not going to get into it, but that brings up a big point. I really hope, as the manga, keeps going, I hope we go back to Crollo and like the leader of the Phantom Troop and how he lost his Nen, and then there was that like kind of that thing that they hinted at that you can get your Nen unlocked.
Right.
Because Crappie could put that thing on him.
Right.
And I hope they go back to that because the Phantom Troop, that's it's one of my favorite.
Well, what happens if they need the Phantom Troop in the next where they're going in the other, what do they call the dark? I don't know, what they call the new world. I don't even remember.
It was a Dark Continent or something.
Dark Continent, yeah.
I heard it mentioned. I just don't. I got to a point where it must have been very recent. They had just, or it must have been like right at the end where they mentioned it, because I got up to where it was maybe like 15 chapters away from the end, and they hadn't mentioned anything about that. So I'm really excited to read it now that you're talking it up and everything.
Yeah, because they're just starting though. It isn't like you've really missed. They're just starting to get it wound up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I just like everybody's abilities and how it's being explained.
Yeah, it's nice. Let's see. Probably another 5 or 10 minutes. I guess we can go close out. Let's see. There's a few other things. Oh, have you noticed? Maybe this is a stretch, but Poof's he's faithful to the mother, the Chimera Ant, which I've said a lot. Her ideology, the way they act, right? And Madara seems to be faithful to the mother in Naruto and her ideology, right? And it seems like it's the same mentality that they all have, that the only way to control the world is to suppress it, just outright control it, dominate it. No free will.
Yeah, well, Madara's got like a whole lifetime, or even longer than a lifetime of experience of seeing the how peace, natural peace isn't possible. That's why he's going for this infinite Tsukiyomi, because the only way to make peace is to do it artificially, And Poof, it's a little different, because he's practically a newborn. He hasn't been around very long.
Well, it's not. Yeah, but see, it's not that angle. It's the connection. It's their loyalty to the mother's ideology. Mother in both cases, that is totalitarian.
Yeah. I see what
That's the only angle and only connection that I'm making between them. So.
Yeah, well, Kishi he's been known to take a lot of things from Hunter.
Well,
I mean, just look at the tuning exams. Well, you can't convince me that wasn't at least inspired from the Hunter exams a bit.
Well, a lot of them do that.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
The exam was longer than Naruto's tuning exam.
What'd you say?
I said the tuning exams from Hunter x Hunter, to me, it was longer than Naruto's tuning exam.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it was more parts. There was more defined parts to it. Well, it was longer because, let's admit it, the long walk, I think, has killed a lot of future Hunter x Hunter fans. I think a lot of Hunter x fans didn't make it past the long walk.
Yeah, I feel like I'm fighting the crowd on that, because that was the part that kind of ensnared me. Like, it kept going on. I'm like, what the heck am I watching? What is going on? They're just running, and it was like, it intrigued me. You know what I'm saying?
And then you gotta find out what they're going to if you keep reading. I kind of like the pace of the walk. I think that's what's gonna grab a lot of attention to it.
You drown, and plus it's misleading. In the first, here's a kid on Whale Island, and it's going to be, a kiddie show, and then we get the long walk, and so it's misleading. I'm like, well, it's a long walk. There's no depth to this show, so it's a kiddie show. There's no depth to it, and how wrong is that about Hunter x Hunter, right? But you got to go past it. So to me, it's just a weak beginning. The beginning is weak. One thing in Naruto I'll say is fast on hooking people to it. You feel horrible for this kid. You're like, my gosh, and you get pulled in. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I can see the I can see how it would drive people away, and I'm not trying to dispute
Well, yeah,
that.
it's just
I think it was it was unique for me. You know, I just.
Oh yeah, well if you liked, well obviously I liked it, but it was kind of boring. But the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people, they start, okay, they're walking.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to another episode.
They're still walking. They're still now they're running.
Here. We're following the guy with no mouth.
And there's some fat guy trying to poison people.
Yeah, what's going on? Oh, I have to say, can I go back on it? That character whose whole thing was to drag other people down.
Tomba, wasn't it?
Oh my God! What a just deliciously maniacal, evil little SOB.
And then he went up to try to that one part in Greed Island when Kilo went to take the hunter exam. He goes walking up to him, and then when he sees Kilo's face, he just turns right around because he knows who it is. I don't know if you remember that part. It was
like he knows better.
Yeah, he's like, this is the wrong dude to give my expired juice to.
Oh,
you remember when he had to take the test of the second time to get all the buttons from everybody, and then he comes out of nowhere like the last person with a bag of buttons.
Yeah, he like just ends the hunter exam right then and there. I know what you're talking about. Where you got it done really quick.
Yeah.
Killua. Yeah, I really like Greed Island. People hate on that arc. That was a good arc.
I like the Greed Island is, to me, I know it will sound funny. It sounds like it's kind of like me watching Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's more like
the cards.
Because of the cards.
Yeah. Well, I never really watched Yu-Gi-Oh, but I see the comparison. I really like Bisky. She was one of my favorite characters, and that's why I really like Greed Island. And I'll tell you what, you've never seen a show that made a dodgeball game entertaining. That was the most intense dodgeball game I've ever seen in anything ever made.
Have you noticed that Dagashi's done like every genre? Sports, cards, virtual world, sorta.
Yeah, he's covered them all.
Oh my gosh.
He's so versatile, and man, I really gotta get back into Yu Yu Hakusho. I gotta.
Yeah, me too.
I keep putting that off, but anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'll sit down. Next thing you know, I'm done with 5 episodes, and because I just keep sitting here watching it. I even like the song. It's
all the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good opening. And I guess that show had the same opening as just like Hunter x Hunter's had the same opening.
Yeah.
Forever. I don't know what his obsession is with having. They don't never change the opening, just the visuals.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. All right. Well, we covered a lot. I'm going to put at the end of it. We also had some Hunter chat. I can't put Hunter X because they'll just strike me down with lightning or something like that. So. But anyway, they'll claim this is all their content. This is all Nippon television. Yeah, right. Anyway. So,
that's
all right,
BS. I can't believe they did that.
I can't believe I opened that up again. Yeah, we'll move past it. We'll do what we got to do, right? We'll do what we got to do. We'll move on. Some doors close, some doors open. That's the way it is. Well, anyway, I want to go ahead and close this out. I appreciate Michael. You've been quiet for a while. Is there anything you want to say real quick before we close out?
I'm looking forward to the Hunter x Hunter manga.
That is going to be crazy, isn't it? Covering that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Was it June? It'll be in June, right?
June, July?
Something like that.
I think it's July.
Yeah, it's coming out in English, right? They said it's coming out in English.
Yeah, they said it's supposed to coming out in English, so I think it's going to be July. But we'll see that. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. It's watching. I am going to, I guess for a while, I'll keep uploading over to my other channel. And so appreciate everyone watching, and appreciate definitely everyone that's helped me out to make these things, which is our own content. Anyway, until next time, take care.